Good morning, everyone. I'm Philip Ng, Long Island Railroad President, and welcome here to Jamaica Station. Thank you for joining us here for the second time this summer as we unveil new customer-centric features in our Train Time app. I'd like to acknowledge Nick Peluso and Mike Sanchez from TCU, Jerry Brigman, Chair of Long Island Railroad Commuter Council, and Lisa Daglian, Executive Director at PCAC. They've all been strong, passionate advocates for our riders and have been working closely with us as we deliver improved services for all. And thank you all again for being here today and for your continued support. Here next to me is Will Fisher, Long Island Railroad's Chief Innovation Officer. In the days and months following the start of this global pandemic, Chairman Pat Foy openly discussed the possibility of instituting a reservation-style ticketing system on the railroads. What we've developed is even better, I believe. Today, we're launching another industry-leading, first, a brand new feature that will allow our customers to plan their upcoming trips better while they're still choosing which train to take while sitting at home. Our customers will be able to see the exact ridership trends of their particular trip so they can make their most ideal decision possible about when to ride with us. I'll let Will fill you in on more details in just a moment, but we've also reached another milestone today when it comes to our real-time customer loading data. You may remember back in June when we stood here and unveiled a fully revamped Train Time app. It was a major milestone in Long Island Railroad's history, and the features we rolled out were a rail industry first in North America. We gave Long Island Railroad customers a powerful information tool right in the palm of their hands through this app, enabling them to see how many people are on each car of their incoming train so they can position themselves in the best place to find a seat or to spread out and be more socially distanced during these COVID-19 times. So today we're taking this tech further, and we're happy to announce that customers taking any Long Island Railroad train, 100% of our fleet, that includes our M7s, our M9s, electric trains, and those in our diesel territory now on the Montauk, Greenport, Port Jefferson, and Oyster Bay branches will now have access to all that same real-time loading information. We know information is power, and we're giving that power to our customers in this app to make the best decisions for themselves as they travel. We're standing here because of a fantastic and driven project team led by Will Fisher and his team, Sonny Zeng and Ryan O'Connor. While there were many departments that supported this effort, MTA IT provided a major supporting role. And thank you again to Nick Peluso and Mike Sanchez and all of our TCU members for their hard work. Like several other things we've accomplished in the past 2 years, from platform arrival times, increased grade crossing safety, real-time train location, to our laser train, we're again leading the railroading industry. I'm incredibly proud of what the Long Island Railroad workforce and what we've accomplished together. These tools were under development prior to the pandemic because we knew how important it is to give our customers all the information possible to help them navigate their best trips in our system. Now, as we navigate this pandemic together, this kind of information has proven to be invaluable. These tools are first in class, and quite frankly, the information that our riders now have is a game changer for all of our Long Island Railroad riders. I'll ask Will Fisher now to come up and walk everyone through some of these latest features and how customers can use them. Will?
Thank you, Phil. In June, we announced our new app right here in Jamaica. Passengers absolutely love the app. We've seen usage grow day after day. Those who are using it keep using it more. Here are 2 quotes from Twitter that I love. We're thrilled to see that customers are using and enjoying these new features. So we went out and asked our customers, what would help you return to the Long Island Railroad? Overwhelmingly, we heard that passengers want to know how they can ride safely. As they plan their trip, can they find a less crowded train to their destination? And once they get to the station, which cars on the incoming train are empty? We addressed the second part with our release in June, but we hadn't yet cracked the first part until now. With our new release today, riders can see ahead of time exactly how crowded the trains they're considering will be. For example, you can sit at home and look up trains. You look up trains for tomorrow, and we will tell you exactly how crowded we expect each train to be based on that train's ridership over the last 7 days. So as you can see on the screen, you might be at Hicksville going to New York, going to Penn Station in early in the morning, 5:30. And you'll see that the 5:35 is actually pretty crowded, right? It's been crowded over the last few days. And we have that real-time data from the last days, and we incorporate that into the icon on the screen. So you'll see 3 people next to that train. Of course, if you wait just 10 minutes, the 5:45 over the last 7 days hasn't been crowded at all. So you could take that train if you just wait 10 minutes, and you'll know coming into the system, right, getting on that train, this train isn't very crowded. If you click through to any of these trains, we'll actually show you stop by stop what the pattern is. So in this case, you can see a train that actually starts to get full at Brentwood, and it's actually pretty full. Well, it picks up at Brentwood, and it's pretty full all the way already by Bethpage. So you kind of know the patterns and the trends here. We give you the information that we have. In many cases, our riders have options about which train to take. So this high quality data can actually make all the difference. We hope this will help riders ease their transition back into our system. In June, we released a feature for real-time crowding data. That is, if you're already on this, if you've chosen the train, you're already on the platform, of the incoming train, which cars are empty and which are more crowded. At that time, this feature worked across all of our electric trains, which is about 90% of the fleet, but we didn't have the diesels yet. I'm excited to announce that today, we have this on our diesel fleet as well. Here's what this looks like on a diesel train. So if you look at the image on the screen, you'll see a rider's at Roslyn, perhaps in the morning, going to Jamaica or going westbound. The train's not there yet, but they can see that the train will have 4 cars, and the first and the last are more loaded than the second and the third. So if they want to find an empty car, they know they need to be by the second and third car. If they give the app their location permissions, we'll actually plot their location on the platform relative to where those cars are going to pull up. So the train's not there yet, but we know where it's going to stop, and we know where you are if you give us permissions, and then we can put those two together on a map. You can see that as the blue dot on this image. So they probably want to be near the second or third cars, so they can walk on the platform towards that area. This screen used to be, those cars in this screen used to be gray because we didn't have real-time data. So we knew that there were 4 cars, but we didn't know which ones were more crowded or not on the diesel fleet. But now with this data, we can color those cars based on what's going on in real time. With today's release, we have full coverage of the entire fleet. We actually use 3 separate methods to do this. On the electric side, we use infrared sensors that detect people going in and out of a car, and we also use load weight technology, which weighs the car in real time and determines the payload of the car. So that's how many people are on the car, and we can figure out, we get a weight and we can divide and we can figure out how many people are on that car. For the diesel fleet, we actually use a camera-based technology that takes screenshots from cameras and determines the outlines of customers so we can count people in the frame. So we have 3 different ways that we do this. The features we're releasing today are as innovative as anything we're seeing from a transit agency globally. We are the first agency in the world to do this. We have full coverage of our fleet with high quality real-time crowding data that updates every 15 seconds. This is not just manual counts you do once every week or 2 and then update in a spreadsheet somewhere, right? These are sensors that get per car, per stop, every 15 seconds, new values that we can pull in. We do a lot of processing and we spit it back to users to give them real actionable information, whether that's about which car to go in right now, what's empty, or tomorrow or the day after, which train to take based on what it's looking like today. Those trends are very stable, so if we see what happens over the last 5 days, that's a very, very good estimate or prediction of what's going to happen today. So if we say there are 2 people out of 4 of those little people on the screen, that means we know it's really going to be 2 out of 4 today, right? It's not a total guess. So that helps us in this. This update is available today in the App Store and the Play Store. The update is already out. And for those who don't already have the app, I encourage you to download it and try it out. The app is completely free and always will be. Thank you, and now I'll turn it back to Phil.
Thank you, Will. I'd like to also invite Jerry Brigman, Long Island Railroad Commuter Council Chair, to have us say a few words.
Good morning. Anything I could say at this point would probably be redundant, but I did want to thank the railroad for this initiative. As we all know, social distancing is a critical component in trying to defeat the corporate virus. And this will give us the tool, give our riders the tool to find a location where they can sit away from other riders if at all possible. It's going to become even more critical as ridership starts to return, hopefully in the fall, as we get back to our original numbers from about a year ago. And not to make things political, but as you know, the MTA is looking for additional federal funding. If that funding doesn't come through, there might be less trains, more crowded trains, and at that point, this technology that the railroad is giving us will go from being critical to very critical. So again, I'd like to thank the railroad for giving us this technology and giving us the opportunity to social distance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Sorry, thank you. Okay. We know ridership has been low, but it's starting to sort of come back. What percentage is in there now, do you think?
So we have seen with every phase of New York and Long Island's reopening a gradual, slow increase. Last week, early on, we were at 25% of the ridership, and then on Friday we hit 27%. Over the weekend, we had 55% of our riders use the Long Island Railroad based on our normal ridership from a year ago.
And now that you have this up and running on all fleets, what do you hope and expect will happen?
Well, what we wanted to do, again, is we understand how information is invaluable to our riders. It gives them the ability to make informed decisions on their commute. And this is very much even more important now when people are trying to decide, do I come back to mass transportation? Do I take the train? Or do I drive? And I know that the roads are getting congested because people are driving, but we are seeing people come back to the train. And we're going to continue to disinfect our trains. We're going to continue to disinfect the stations. But having information on how many people are on the train will give those those people coming back a little more sense of comfort early on, so they can pick the train that best fits their schedule, but also best fits their mental state where they want to have a little more space on the train. And then, as we said, the real-time information the day of, then you can actually pick which car you want to sit in as well. So all of this information is invaluable to our riders. Hey, Andrew. Oh, sorry.
A question on the app. Do you have a number of how many people are using the app?
Can you repeat one more time?
How many people do you think are using the app? Do you have a number?
Yes, we have. We've seen a steady increase of the app usage. Actually, last week we just saw 2,000 more users, and I think we're around 24,000 users right now.
Wait for the microphone here. Phil, yeah, this app should help people feel more comfortable riding the rails, but is the MTA and the Long Island Railroad doing enough to inform riders about the safety procedures that the LIRR is putting on, like cleansing the trains, cleaning the trains? Because you're not getting a lot of ridership, you're only getting 27%. What do you need to do to get people to feel comfortable to ride the rails again?
Well, Andrew, you're 100% right. And I think a lot of the ridership is tied to businesses still trying to figure out how to reinvent their workforce too, right? A lot of folks have allowed telecommuting, and it does work. But we also see that a lot of people are coming in and they're working half a week or several days a week. So this will give the customer much more sense of comfort on which days they want to come in. We are messaging, and we'll continue to message, and we'll continue to do the disinfecting of our train cars every day, our stations, touch points, twice a day. We're continuing to distribute masks where people need masks. We continue to message the importance of wearing a mask when you're in our facilities. And we're continuing to provide hand sanitizer as well. everything that we can do as a mass transportation agency, as a public sector provider, we want to do and make sure that our customers feel that sense of comfort. The one thing I will say is that the riders and our employees, we are seeing that everyone is remaining healthy. We're seeing that all the measures that everyone is taking, following science and data, is working, and that's really important for the whole state of New York, not just Long Island Railroad. Follow the directions of your healthcare providers, of the health experts, and follow the science and data that goes along with it. We're gonna beat this thing. We're already crushing it now. We just got to stay on top of it and hopefully avoid that second wave that people talk about.
Just following up on other stories we had recently, which is where the chairman was talking about how the agency alone needed $12 billion to get through the rest of this year and into next year. And do you have any information on that, any latest information on that? And what would happen if Congress does not pass the funding bill?
So there is a lot of dialogue obviously going on with regards to the federal dollars we need. Pat Foy has made it clear that to get us through the end of 2021, we need $12 billion. And there's no other entity but the federal government that can provide that. We also know that we are looking at everything, and everything is on the table with regards to if we have to start making adjustments because those federal dollars are not coming. And it goes the gamut of, we've already started reducing overtime, we've already eliminated unnecessary consultant contracts or consultant contracts that can be deferred, and we're continuing to look at those measures, but then we'll have to look at how we can continue to support the returning ridership, but we're going to have to look at how we can provide a level of service that enables them to still use the railroad, but also looks to start saving some dollars. So that, you know, those kinds of things we hope never happen. Federal government needs to step up, and that's where it should be.
Other questions? Anybody? All right, we're going to do the live demo now, all right? For those watching the live stream, for those here, we're going to do a live demo showing how this new technology works. It'll be right here on this screen. Thank you.
I can't see the, why don't I, there, okay. You can hear me? Okay. You want me to stand there? Is it okay? Move up.
Get in the shade.
Good? You good? Yes? No? What you see on the screen now is actually from right here, Jamaica to Penn Station now, and the trains that run here. Yep. Oh, okay. All right.
Boom was on the camera too.
That's fine. I'll use the thing. So the trains that go now, you'll see there's one person on each of them. So that means that, I mean, no surprise here, right? Those trains aren't particularly crowded during midday. So let's start in Ronkonkoma. And we'll do a trip from Ronkonkoma to Penn Station midday, same time right now. Again, those trains aren't going to be very crowded. They weren't particularly crowded pre-COVID either. These are midday trains. Now, let's say we do it at commuting hours, sometime early in the morning. And this could be, for example, we're sitting at home the night before or a couple days before. You say we're interested in commuting, on that day, getting on a train at that time, and so we're doing trip planning, and we'll actually see, if I take the 458, for example, that's going to be really crowded, and actually it is. I mean, you should be on that train, right? You'll see it's more crowded than many of the others, and there are reasons for that based on the schedules of the workers on that train. Most of them are traveling for work. But of course, if you have the flexibility, and some people do, not everyone does, but those people who do, they want this information, you could wait. So for example, if you were going to take the 529, you could wait just 13 minutes and get on a train that practically has nobody on it, right? So that makes all the difference. Previously, you'd have none of these the little people icons, you'd have none of that. So you just kind of throw your fate to the wind and just show up, especially if you haven't been on the system in a while. You don't know what the patterns are like. This will allow you to know what's going on. And of course, things are changing pretty rapidly now as people come back into the system. So every single day we update these numbers, right? We take it based on yesterday and the 7 days prior, and we update those numbers for every single train. So let's go into one of these trains. Click on the first one, and you can actually see by stop, where does it get crowded, right? So, you know, it may not be crowded in Ronkonkoma. When you get on, you may get on and say, well, this is wrong. But actually, what we're telling you is by Bethpage, it's going to be, you know, there are going to be a lot more people on the train at that point. So we give you all the data you need, and again, that's based over the last 7 days as well. All the data you need to determine which train you want to take. And this is what's revolutionary about this. We actually take real-time data from every single train every day, sensor data, not just manual counts, and factor it into this equation. So this stuff doesn't lie, right? It's sensors telling you exactly how many people were on the train yesterday, you know, in whichever cars, and that factors into this. So this is what it looks like. And you know, we're very proud of what we've done, and you know, we use it ourselves, and it's right, you know. So as people use this more and more, they trust the data more and more. You want to do anything in particular? Is that good? Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.